Grab your skis for a show full of snow. It's winter sports fun on today's Exploring Idaho.
Mush full ahead on a dog sled adventure high in the hills of the Seven Devils.
Hey, it's going, guys.
Find out why this 72-year-old skier is best known as the 8-million-foot man. And glide through unearthly landscapes on a cross-country ski adventure at Craters of the Moon.
Hello, and welcome to Exploring Idaho's Winter Sports Show. I'm Dee Sarton. You know, I think people have been skiing here in Idaho just about as long as there's been snow. Every day here at Bogus Basin, people of all ages show up to enjoy a day on the hill. Of course, you don't have to have skis to get around on the snow. Idahoans are pretty creative in that department. And Exploring Idaho's Jennifer Eisenhart.
Almost knocking you
Well,
over.
hey, it's good to see you. I understand you have a very unusual story about winter sports in Idaho.
That's right. It is a far cry from carving turns on the slopes. In fact, it's more like a call of the wild. We recently met a married couple who make their living as teachers in the town of Riggins, but what they live for is something straight out of Jack London's famous tale.
These are not the mountains of Alaska, and this is not a story about death or life, except that Jane and Jim Updegrove of Riggins, Idaho are loving life and living it the best they can with what they've got.
Oh, I got my hands full. My buddies.
15 buddies in all, each with its own personality.
She has the longest tongue around and really gives some nice smooches.
That's our family right here. So that's the way we look at it.
In the backyard shed, Jim builds dog sleds from scratch.
We make little of everything.
In the house, Jane sews booties, bags, and harnesses.
If you're going to race, it is definitely a necessary thing.
And together with their buddies, they make one big team that loves to run.
You give smooches too, don't you? Yeah.
It's sunrise in the Seven Devils.
Look forward to coming out and enjoying this wonderful kingdom out here that we have.
These high mountain woods west of Riggins are perfect grounds for training.
Beautiful. And no one else is here most of the time.
With fresh snow, a clear sky, and a chill in the air, it's a great morning to sled.
Guys ready to get going? Roger.
This beaver.
Hi, Bruiser.
Come on, Zing Zing.
You're ready to go, aren't you, Foxy?
All the dogs are ready to go.
Oh, stand still. You're not that excited.
They've been through this before.
Big Daddy and he's spoiled, too.
As champions in Idaho and the Northwest, they're some of the fastest runners around.
They go back to the breeding back in the 60s when they started dog sled racing in Alaska. Strongest dog. And they like to run. And you'll see that. They just love to run. About 55 pounds of flying fury. We're ready. Hit it. After 10 or 15 miles, they get manageable. Before that, you're on the edge of extinction. Easy, guys, easy. Got to try to keep on the trail. Getting around that corner, sometimes you wind up rolling 2 or 3 times.
Jim will run as many as 20 dogs at a time. Up and down these trails, they can cover 100 miles in a day.
You become one of them. They look at you. I can be going along, and if I start kicking and running behind that sled, they say, wow, he's working, we're working, let's do this together. You gotta be in good shape. You gotta have the spirit or else you won't make it in mushing. Because there's lots of work here. On by. Good dogs, good dogs. I'm part of them, they're part of me. We live together, we work together.
Singer, Bruiser, on ahead. Way to go, guys.
The dogs work with Jane, too.
Good guy, Mighty. There's such a feeling when you get on the back of a dog sled. For me, it's very relaxing, a quiet time, no one else around. I think there are a lot of mushers that don't have a relationship with their dogs like Jim and I do. We just really like our dogs. We always have loved dogs. It's fabulous to see them work together well. People many a time comment on how gorgeous they look, all trotting together, just about in unison. They pull their hearts out for me, and it's really neat to see a dog, doing that for me.
Keep going, guys.
Get your butt in it and your legs like you're skiing.
And after a while, you can tell that no matter who's driving the sled,
You ready? On ahead!
the dogs give it all they've got. Right about now, I'm finally finding out the full power of this team.
That's okay. We're doing fine.
And as Jane comforts me,
You're okay, Jennifer.
I get the feeling she's also reassuring herself.
We'll be okay.
Okay, as long as I cling to this sled with all I've got. But the dogs run on ahead. I guess that's what teamwork is all about.
Whoa, guys!
Well,
that was
that's
fun.
great.
How was that, Jennifer?
That was great. God, that's pretty amazing.
You did quite well.
They go a lot faster than I thought they would.
They do.
They came out today and just fed back to us. They gave us all the energy they had. Revived your spirit, revived our soul, and off we go, sledding into the sunset. I guess the sad thing is thinking there's an end to that trail out there, and I'm going to have to turn around and go back to reality because that fantasy only carries me up into the sunset, and then we have to go home.
Hey, that was good, you guys. You guys were going fast. Good dogs. Good dogs.
Jim and Jane started dog sledding about 10 years ago, and ever since then, it's been full mush ahead.
Now, hey, you got a ride. I want a ride.
It is a lot of fun. Jim and Jane do not offer rides to the public, but there are several outfits in Idaho that do, and we'll give you information on how to get in touch with them later on in the show.
Oh, great. Looks like fun, Jim. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go enjoy some of the snow.
Enjoy it. I bet you're going to go find some of that powder. And speaking of powder, it's been great this winter. You know, there are some places in the backcountry where that dry, deep stuff is 15 feet. Well, we sent Ed Vining out to find out how you get to the best powder in Idaho. He went to the mountains near McCall, and he came back with a big smile on his face.
Welcome to Idaho's backcountry, where winter rules over thousands of miles of untouched land. Back here, away from the busy ski slopes, you'll find some of the best powder in the country, 15 feet deep and light as a feather. This is the stuff powder hounds dream of. But before you can cut any tracks, you'll need to hook up with one of these. Your backcountry ticket to Powder Paradise. The snowcat treads up the mountain with ease. While winter goes by out the window, we drive ever deeper into the woods and then end up on top of the world.
Whenever it's clear, everyone just loves it. They go crazy. It's just like today, nice snow and sea. It's excellent.
Excellent is right. This is run number 1.
Is everybody pretty much ready to ski then?
Believe me, we're ready.
All right.
Just beware of one major pitfall. Drop down into this kind of powder, and you'll never want to ski anything else.
It's like floating. It's like floating on air. It's nothing that you'll ever get in a groomed run. means heaven. It's a fluffy, smooth, kind of floating feeling.
It's a multiplier effect. It's only about 1,000,000 times better than the regular groomed run.
You just kind of float through it, and on the snowboard, it just kind of keeps you right on top of it. It was great. It was deep and steep.
It's super. Doesn't get any better.
Near Brundage Mountain Ski Area, Ed Vining for Exploring Idaho.
Now that looks like fun. How would you like to ski the world's tallest mountain, Mount Everest, in a single day? How about skiing that distance 2 or 3 times? Well, the champion skier you're about to meet has gone even farther than that. At Sun Valley Resort, he's the senior distance skier in more than one way. I have to admit, after a few runs down the ski hill, I'm always in the mood for a good cup of hot chocolate. But you're about to meet a man who has a policy: no breaks. You'll hardly ever see him in the ski lodge. He won't even stop to rest on the ski hill. His name is Neal Holmes, and he's Sun Valley's record-setting downhill distance skier. We tried to catch up with him. At Idaho's famous Sun Valley Resort, hundreds of people ski every day. And the day usually goes like this: a few runs, then off to the lodge for a snack and some hot chocolate. Maybe later, another few runs. Then it's time to go home for dinner. Now, meet Sun Valley's downhill distance champion. His day is a little different.
This is Warren. This is where I did my record day.
He spends all day, every day, with the Sun Valley sun overhead.
30 runs all day.
The only time he stops for a rest is on the chairlift.
All my runs are top to bottom.
Have a good run, Neal.
Even then, he's planning where to ski next.
Then we'll go to maybe Ridge, Bluegrouse, come back up. Then it depends how it is. This is just beautiful. Look at that mountain. This is heaven.
With a distinct stance, he swishes past slow signs, carefully carves each turn, and leaves his fellow skiers in the dust. Every run is another mark in his book. Every day adds to the record. You see, this champion has skied more vertical feet at Sun Valley than anyone ever.
8 million foot man, yeah, plus.
Johnny,
But the 8 million foot man has won no races, no medals, never even entered a competition. He's simply recognized by everyone at Sun Valley as Neal Holmes, the 72-year-old iron worker who likes to ski.
How come you do this? How come you ski so much?
Well, I just enjoy it, and other than that, that's the reason.
In a record-setting season last year, Neal enjoyed skiing 8,614,600 vertical feet. That's like skiing down Mount Everest 300 times, or skiing from Sun Valley all the way to Chicago, Illinois. In the 160-day Sun Valley season, Neal Holmes made almost 4,000 runs.
If there was a title to put on Neal Holmes, he would be Mr. Sun Valley. He has skied more vertical on this mountain than anyone I've ever known.
Hey, hi, skiers. This is Dusty at Sun Valley with our current...
Mr. Sun Valley starts each day the same. 6 a.m., Neal wakes up to the sound of the Sun Valley Ski Report.
Last night we received 3 inches of snow.
That's the most important call.
By 7, he's eaten breakfast.
Usually a bowl of oatmeal.
7:15, and Neal suits up for the day.
Let's go skiing.
Every morning, Neal Holmes steps out of his modest condo on Warm Springs Road and heads for the big mountain in his backyard.
Every morning the same.
Let's go skiing, Neal.
The 756 bus carries some morning conversation.
You only got 3 inches?
It's a short ride to where Neal gets off at his regular stop.
Same every day. Right around the corner is the ski tuning shop. That's where I keep my skis. And here's how what I do. I bribe him every morning with some cookies.
Every morning, 4 cookies, coffee, and Neal.
And you get the feeling mornings here wouldn't be the same without him. Neal's picture hangs on the wall, along with a plaque recognizing his 8 million foot vertical venture.
Big time, the king of the hill. He's probably the only person that Arnold Schwarzenegger will holler across the hill to say hello to in the morning.
At the lodge, it seems everyone knows this freckled face.
He gets here at 8 o'clock every morning, has coffee with fellow skiers. He's well known and well liked by everyone here in Sun Valley.
Oh, you couldn't have a better person. I usually ride the first chair every day with him.
But there's a time for talking and a time for skiing. And once Neal Holmes picks up speed, he rarely stops for conversation.
Some of my friends said, why don't you smell the roses? Enjoy everything. Well, I do. So this year I'm smelling the roses a little more.
Neal still averages about 50,000 vertical feet a day. That's only about 1.5 times the height of Mount Everest, a drop from his record-setting days last season. But then we all have to slow down sometime.
So what's it going to take to stop Neal Holmes?
Well, some guy upstairs, I guess.
I bet a lot of us would like to be able to say the same thing. But Neal works hard so he can ski all winter, 7 days a week during the summer. Still ahead, lava landscapes frosted with snow turn Craters of the Moon into a white wonder. Exploring Idaho will be right back. Have you ever visited Bogus Basin in the summertime? If you're used to seeing it with all this snow, you know how different it looks. Well, let's turn that thinking around as we visit central Idaho. Craters of the Moon National Monument is a fairly familiar sight in the summertime, but take a look at what happens once winter does its work.
It's the off-season at Craters of the Moon. That means the usually black lava flows become fields of white. Limber pines bend with the weight of fresh snow, and the entire park echoes with silence. To some, these cold scenes may seem uninviting, but to cross-country skiers, it's a winter paradise.
I try to get out here a couple times a week.
Here is the Craters Loop Drive, a 7-mile cross-country ski trail that cuts right through the middle of the park. Groomed for track skis and skating skis with room to snowshoe and telemark. It's the perfect place to get away from it all and see one of Idaho's undiscovered treasures.
When the snow is on the black lava, that's the prettiest time, because you've got the white contrasting with the black. And then you've got the green limber pines that sometimes are snow-covered. It's really beautiful. I think Craters of the Moon definitely has its best foot forward in the winter.
And Vicki should know, she works here year-round as the Chief of Resource Management. She and a group of park employees take us out for the day because not one other skier is here. With the park all to ourselves, we focus on scenery that's unforgettable.
It's just a completely different place than skiing in the mountains. Here the terrain is relatively flat and the lava outcroppings black contrasting with the white snow. Is just a lovely landscape. And as you can see, if you scan around here, you have a lot of mountain scenery and the valley scenery to see from a distance.
And you can just sit and watch the clouds as they pass over in the shadows. And they'll take on all different kinds of colors, and orange and red and maroons and purples and grays and blacks. And it's like a kaleidoscope just changing in front of you real slowly. It's real nice.
And there's all this little bits of black sticking out from the white, and it was like, wow. I mean, if you're a photographer, to come out here, the contrasts are well worth the effort just to come to take pictures.
best part of all this beauty is just about anyone can get out and see it. The ski trail is mostly flat with a few gradual slopes, and it's easy enough for beginners or children. So bring a lunch, a thermos full of hot chocolate, and your curiosity, because even in Crater's off-season, you're in for a day of discovery.
Just incredible, more beautiful than I ever had expected that it would be. The contrast with the rocks and with the trees, it's just exquisite.
Coming out here in the winter is probably one of the more unique experiences you can have.
It's a place that I would want to come back again and again and again.
It's an undiscovered little gem of Idaho, winter skiing at Craters of the Moon.
And the best part of skiing at Craters of the Moon National Monument probably is the fact that it's absolutely free. Now for our Idaho Puzzler. Can you name the Idaho woman who brought home America's first Olympic medal in alpine skiing? We'll have the answer when Exploring Idaho continues. Did you know the answer to our Idaho Puzzler? Gretchen Frazier won the silver medal in 1948. She was the first American to win an Olympic alpine competition. And here's a phone number you should write down if you'd like more information on any of the stories you've seen on our show. Call for a copy of the Exploring Idaho Field Notes. Be sure to ask for show number 134. Thanks for watching today's show. I'm going to go find a nice groomed run, but we're going to leave you with some of the bumps here at Bogus, so have a great day. Bye!
Okay, we have Resco, bib number 43. Counting 3, 2, 1. Push it out.